Hi, my name is Chris Sell, and I'm one of the co-founders over here at Flywheel. And I wanted to tell you today 6 reasons CDPs are not the future. So I've had the privilege of talking with hundreds of analytics and engineering leaders, and one thing's become very clear. This concept of a first-party data platform centered around your data warehouse is taking over customer data platforms. And I'm here to tell you a few reasons why. So first, let's get clear on what a customer data platform actually is, or CDP for short. They do a multitude of things, and it's a pretty broad category. But what it boils down to is they do three fundamental features. One is they ingest your customer data. Two, they create a single view of your customer, so you know Chris and everything that Chris does. And then three, they help you activate that customer data to your marketing, sales, and customer service tools. Now, they provide a ton of value, and they've taken the industry by storm because over the last 5 to 10 years, it's been a great way to centralize your customer data and activate it so your marketing and sales team can create a better customer experience. What's happening now, though, is we're seeing analytics leaders start to see that they'd actually like to take a different approach for several reasons. And that's become this idea of a first-party data platform. They're realizing that they need to own the first-party data about their customers in their own tools to then activate it to those marketing, sales, and customer service channels. And what that looks like is essentially they're bringing in source data through their ETL tools into their cloud data warehouse, whether that's BigQuery, Snowflake, or Redshift. They're actually modeling the customer data in that data warehouse, and then they're activating it from there. And that has several benefits we'll walk through in a few seconds. So the first reason that analytics leaders are starting to pursue the first-party data platform approach over CDPs is time is money. And CDPs, analytics leaders usually say they take too long to implement. They take 6+ months. And the reason that is that you have to put event tracking in your web app as well as your mobile app. In addition to that, you have to start porting over data sets and copying data over to the CDP, which takes your data engineering team getting involved. Whereas with the first-party data platform approach, what they're finding is they've already started to ingest the data to their data warehouse. They've already modeled it with tools like dbt and Airflow. And so all they want to do is actually just activate that data to the destinations. They're taking this data they're already using for reporting on their customers and then activating it to the destinations, which takes a matter of weeks versus months to implement a third-party CDP. Reason number two is that they're finding that you actually end up with two views of the customer, not a single view, if you pursue an external CDP approach. So what actually happens is they start to port over source data into their third-party CDP and start modeling the customer there. They find that they have a data engineering team doing the same thing to their data warehouse. So they're actually starting to bring the data into their data warehouse about their customers. They're modeling the customer data there. And what they end up doing is they see they have two teams, one creating a customer data model in their CDP with different tooling. They have another one in their data warehouse used for reporting in Power BI, Tableau. And they're wondering, why am I paying all this money to create two customer models in two different locations used by two different teams? And how do I maintain those? And they usually don't end up staying in sync. The third reason analytics leaders are pursuing the first-party data platform approach over CDPs is they end up with a limited view of the customer in the CDP. And by that, I mean they're able to easily get in-app event data as well as website event data through the event trackers into the CDP. But beyond that, all your offline data, all your survey data, all your in-store, as well as your sales opportunity data, you have to start getting your data engineering team to start loading that data into the CDP and actually model it there. And since your data engineering team doesn't really like the tooling in the CDP, there becomes a lot of friction. So what you end up with is you're able to do the sources and have a picture of your customer in the CDP, but it's limited. You'll never get all your data there. Usually it's about 20% instead of 100% of it. Whereas with the data warehouse, you're already doing reporting off of your data warehouse. So you're starting to bring a lot more of that customer data in, and your data engineering team's bought into doing it because they can use SQL, the open source tools they want to. So you end up with a much fuller view of your customer, from web app data, mobile app data, email interactions, sales activities, event attendance, survey data, you name it. People are starting to move it to the data warehouse with those tools. Reason number 4 is CDPs end up sabotaging your analytics team's ability to innovate. And so that's why analytics leaders are trying to find a new approach, is they're seeing that the data warehouse like BigQuery, Snowflake, or Redshift have a SQL interface and machine learning services that interface with the customer data. So if you want to create a churn model about your customers to see who's at risk of churning, your data scientist isn't going to say, oh, let me go figure out a way I can do that on my customer data platform and their specialized tooling. What they're going to say is, I'd like to use Python, I'd like to use this library, and I'd like to do it on our data warehouse. And since that's their first line of sight into what they actually want to do in terms of innovating, it's where your team's most comfortable and where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. And so analytics leaders are starting to see, without that SQL interface and the ability to do your own machine learning with open source tools, CDPs start to stunt their analytics team's ability to innovate on how they're targeting their customers. Reason number 5 is the data warehouse offers far more measurement potential. And this is by virtue of your analytics team being comfortable with the data warehouse and already doing visualizations in Tableau, Power BI, and Looker based on the data warehouse. That means that your team's going to be able to take your audience data and your customer data and visualize it as well in those same tools because they're using that same warehouse. Now, in addition to that, what we're also seeing is analytics leads are finding they can actually do deeper funnel metrics. So we're showing a few examples here of you can actually start to show and do some sophisticated analyses around doing treatment and control groups for your audiences and actually using your team to do statistical analysis to say, are we generating any uplift in deep funnel metrics like revenue, add to carts, searches? These types of things are extremely difficult to do in CDPs because of their lack of flexibility, whereas your data warehouse provides it out of the box. And reason number 6 is analytics leads don't want to entrust their key customer data to a third party. It's not where the industry's headed overall. For privacy and compliance reasons, as well as access control, you want that to abide by the same ACLs and be in your VPC that your data warehouse is. So data stays in your system for the first-party data platform approach versus having to copy your data out to a third party with a CDP. So overall, there's a better way that's culminating, and it's being called a first-party data platform. My company, Flywheel Software, helps with the last leg of that journey. Once you're ingesting data to the data warehouse and you're starting to model that data, we help you activate it to any sales, marketing, or customer service channel. But we have a ton of experience overall in working with analytics leaders on how to set up their first-party data platform approach. So if you're interested in exploring how a first-party data platform could work for your team, contact us at solutions@flywheelsoftware.com, and we'd love to do a session just brainstorming and seeing how it could work for you. Thanks so much.